Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be. Welcome back to another episode of whatever this is we do, because it's awesome.
That should be the title, like forever. What's your show called? Whatever it is that we do because it's awesome. So now you know the rest of the story.
We're pretty excited to welcome Max Infeld from Krown and an artist and some cool stuff I think we're going to talk about. But I guess first we're going to put up some gratitudes.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm grateful for Max, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
And Krown. Yep. All right, Max.
Oh man, I'm grateful for blockchain technologies. I know it's generic, but
No, dude.
oh man, just so many great things happening. Yeah, I've seen so many in the last month. I've seen like most people I know who are in the game, their lives significantly change, and that's just freaking awesome.
Hey, Jimmy D.
Yeah, I'm. That's a tough one, actually. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for modern internet technology.
Yeah, because that ancient internet technology is lame. Sorry.
No, I mean, like thank you, by the way. I've been absent a couple of days, and it was nice just to chill out. But I could still connect to people out in the middle of nowhere when I had to, and I could still get some stuff done. And build giant campfires and do whatever, the old school way, but still be able to set up a computer and have an internet connection to write and do some things. And I think that's kind of the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Right? Yeah, no, I'm with you. We've been talking a lot about, we've been talking about moving onto a boat, Babs and I, big or small, for probably 4 years. And it's looking at what SpaceX is doing with Starlink. That's literally just like, we could literally do this, at a really, really high degree out in the middle of the freaking Pacific Ocean, which is absolutely incredible. Anyway, AdsCan 2, I wanted to pick up a couple from the comments. So I got yours over here on this brand new one. We got onto a new thing. All right. Make sure I type this out the right way. Boink. It's the dates. 5/21. Date stamping these, so we kind of have an idea of what's going on. So yeah, Max, how you doing? What's going on?
Oh man, things are awesome. Super busy. I feel like I've been waking up like 5 or 6 every morning, and yeah, it's been wild. I think the bull market somehow like invigorates everyone I know to just hit me up a lot earlier. So yeah, early mornings, man. It's rough, but yeah, it feels proactive. It's good.
Yeah, to the extent to which I am guilty of this, and I know I have been, I apologize.
Oh man, it's all good.
Like, what?
What are those things shooting around?
This is my my new mod pack is Astralex with blue. I love this. There's these are all over the map. Crypto monkeys this way, motherfuckers! Like they put them all over the place, which is awesome.
Nice.
That's super smart. Yeah. So Astralex shader with the bloom pack, which I think the bloom pack is how I get these like amazing freaking sunbeam situation or like light.
It's so cool.
Lens flaring, whatever. But yeah, so the Astralex shader, I might never change them. Because like the whole cell shading kind of thing just makes all the colors pop a lot, and yeah, this is just what the sky looks like now, and I'm here for it. I love it a lot. By the way, for anyone who's in game, we just did a video. I gotta edit it and throw it up with Gary about how to get a map up in the top right-hand corner, and set waypoints, and like it's going to be a little while before we get the 2D maps back up on the way that we have the server cluster working. But this new map thing that Gary showed me basically gives you all the same functionality and right in the game. So it's really cool.
That's much better, and like we're gonna need it now too.
Yeah, for sure.
For people finding their plots. So, and I just want to shout out to a few random people in the Telegram channel. I really like when people come in and say like, oh, I'm not trying to cause like a mess or a fuss, but like I have this idea of things that you can improve. Thank you. Like seriously, thank you. Like we get it that it's not perfect, and your suggestions are like really valuable to us.
Absolutely.
If you do it in the right way, right?
Right.
I mean, we're always looking at ways to improve. So, for example, someone named Ash came in today and made a couple of suggestions. That was great. Like there's been a few other people, and we joke around about it, right? Like with the mods and stuff like that too. But like just for being people and treating us as people, I just want to say thank you, because it's not always the case with a lot of other projects, and you guys are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the constructive, feedback and constructive criticisms about how we can improve, like that's rocket fuel for us, right? Because just especially the way that we're the way that we're building, and so that kind of stuff is fantastic. And of course, juxtaposed with the exceedingly small number of people who just want to come in and complain like a bunch of guppies. Like, we were talking about this off air. Like less than 0.1% of the few thousand people that have interacted with this community so far have been kind of in this vein of just like, oh, you just want to kind of complain about stuff. And it makes me, I always pivot, because it's frustrating when it happens. I always pivot to 99.9% of people that have interacted with us have just been fantastic. And I want to make sure that we're setting up all of our sort of governance stuff and rules around that, right? Like we don't want to make rules, that might impact everybody, specifically around, the very tiny number of shitheels that end up coming into this space, right? So anyway, thank you guys. I just want to maybe tag that onto what Jimmy was saying. Thank you guys very much for being just rad. Completely rad.
Good communities are great. So right. I heard you guys, Max. I heard you guys met recently. You and Corey. How was that? That must have been fun.
It was really good, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to hang out in real life. Like it's
it is. Yeah.
Is it just for like affluent people or something? I felt so lucky. I don't know. It was awesome.
It was. It definitely, I got a bug now. Like I didn't know, because it had been, let's shoot this off here real quick. It had been a long time since, the pandemic basically, since I'd been in a room of humans. And then, my first room of humans is like having like what is now famously a super awkwardly long hug with Ken Bozak, which was really fun. But then seriously, like, I got to spend the entire day pretty much with Max and his awesome girlfriend, and just meeting, all kinds of people and hanging out and shooting the shit, and just like, it just was really, really good, like really good. So anyway, that's my story about that.
Yeah, it was dope. I miss those conferences. Like, holy shit! Like, we were doing it for, I think we were on a circuit for like a year and a half with CSX, who went around and tried to poach prospective employees, and the fancy dinners, and just lots of dance parties, going to the club, lots of fun stuff. That energy is awesome, and to see it kick back up full swing is really amazing.
Yeah, it's good. I'm super pissed at Ken though for booking the freaking shitcoin thing right when I'm not going to be in town. Like, it's going to be in my town the 1 week out of the year and a half, 2 years that I'm going to be out of town. Ugh. Maybe it's going to be so good too.
Yeah, maybe
you shouldn't have hugged him as long.
Maybe not. He's just like, this was he's just like, this was enough, Corey. Like, it was good.
Sorry, man.
Oh no, yeah, maybe you can catch the end of it though. I mean, it's usually the best stuff. All the best stuff happens before it and after it. So
that's true. Yeah, no, I think we're supposed to be gone a week, but like if there's even any remote plausibility of catching any of it at all, I definitely am going to do that. It'll be good. So yeah, but more of them. Like, let's do more. Just in general, all the time.
Yeah, I was hoping if we get elected for
Ben.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
When I was just this is a little editorializing.
Yeah, I think when we get elected for Alien Worlds, which I know there's a chance, if we get elected as candidates and we have access to some resources, I would say we should do some real world events with the funding.
I agree. And I think one of them should be we hire graffiti kings to make the entire 8-story side of a building into a giant like blockchain gaming Alien Worlds super fun mural, and then host an event at the base of it, and I'll have a lot of really good times.
Oh man, I remember on some VR game, they were doing like a real world dance party event.
Yeah.
And then like on the other end of it, they were doing like a virtual event. So something like that too. I love reading those, just having the conference hall, actually people can interface with people in the multiverse somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. We were talking about how to map proximity audio, and it's probably going to take some like inside initially, but we have enough duct tape to make it work.
So I have to tell this story because it's there's this. I'm going to be that weird dad again, but there's this thing on Sesame Street that my daughter watches with two fish, and they're doing the Baby Shark song, and the fish they wiggle back and forth like this, and now every time we ask her, hey, like, do you want to eat some fish? She wiggles back and forth like this, and she says fish. And I think it's funny, Max, that when you said real world dance party, you kind of go like this. Yeah, when we were at like the dance party. It's built into the conversation topic. I like it. It's really good. I don't know. I'm weird, but I notice things like that now. Body language speaks a lot, and art speaks a lot. And I wanted to ask you because I just recently found out about this not so long ago, and I didn't know about it. You told me actually way back in 2017, you were into art and NFTs, and you created your own like little project called Curio. What was it called again? Curio.
Oh yeah, I can jump into that. So I've been making art, I guess professionally. I don't know what you call it, non-professionally. But yeah, I've been focusing on like the social engagement, social interaction side of art as a medium, and been doing that. Started making kind of like art that I would just say is like stuff and kind of like around form, shape, and color, like traditional art. And then in 2016 or so, I started focusing more on the social art aspect of it. And I got introduced to a project, a friend, this guy Thomas Hunt. He goes by Mad Bitcoins. There should be a good interview coming out with us pretty soon. I just got to reconnect with him. But Matt Bitcoins is like an OG Bitcoiner. You've probably seen him with his big top hat and like Burning Man goggles. He's a legend online. So he asked me, he's like, do you have any art? I'm like, of course I have art. Like, you know who you're talking to? And so I had like maybe around 30 different aliases, some really fun ones. And one of them was named Marisol Vengus. And Marisol was a collective of many artists, basically like assembling these art pieces. So it's kind of like this decentralized artist vibe. And I was more of like the stage director with like social engagement art. You kind of blur the lines between like the person observing it and the person that's working on it, and like. Anyway, there's a bunch of kind of crossover. It's not just like this is my art and I'm giving it to you, and like now you're consuming the artwork I made. It's more there's more layers to it, and more opportunity for my friends and my community to engage, versus just something that's up on the wall that they don't give a fuck about. So anyway, I submitted a bunch of artwork to that project. Curio cards, and essentially it was a way to turn artwork into tokens. And I was kind of familiar because I was kind of involved with the rare peppies a little bit, but not I collected a couple and got some gifts from random people on the internet. So I had a context for it, with rare peppies being on Counterparty, which is also linked with like the blockchain. Tracking them and things like that. It's based off Bitcoin too. It's one of the think one of the most used, maybe it's the only product on Counterparty that's used now. Anyway, so I had some context for what it was, and I was like, oh man, like I've been thinking about doing this in other ways. Like if you look at like BitShares, there's a bunch of like peg tokens, and I'm like, oh, we could just make an interface that a token represents, you know, an image. And so it crossed my mind before, so it wasn't too far-fetched. So I submitted a few pieces of Marisol's to the project, and I didn't really hear much back for a couple months, and then I get someone pings me like, oh, they're on the website, and like you can buy them with Ethereum. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is crazy. Like you can buy something with Ethereum, like, and so I like go to buy them, and I'm like, I think oh man, I don't know what they were going for, 0.0025 ETH, which was, I'm guessing, around $1. But I'm like, I feel weird buying my own art. Like I'm not gonna buy them. And also I feel weird paying gas, and gas is only like 10 cents or something, or like 5 cents. And I'm like, why would I pay fees for crypto transactions? Like that's absurd. So I didn't end up buying any. But yeah, fast forward to about a month ago, I started getting all these extremely bizarre messages from people. One of them's from a YouTuber, Adam McBride. I think you, yeah, Corey, you met him at the conference. And he's like congratulating me on, like, you know, on my project. I'm like, what? Like what project? Like, what are you talking about? So it turns out, out of the Curio Card project, there were 7 artists, and then 2 of them had original artworks that we made these tokenized art that are tokenized, right? So it was myself, and then this other artist. So if you look up Curio Cards, I did 3 numbers, 27, 28, 29. And when you look at what they're going for now, like they made a wrapper to be able to take this old standard and put them onto the new Ethereum standard. So now they're being sold on OpenSea. And if you just search Curio Cards in there, you can kind of get an idea of like what they're going for. But 29, they're extremely rare. And I think they're going for between like 3 and 4 Ethereum a piece.
Wow.
And I'm getting offers that perpetually. But so during that first couple of weeks, I was getting like a dozen messages a day of people asking me like, hey, do you have any cards? Do you have any cards? I'm like, what cards? Like, what are you talking about? And then I found out that my buddy's like, oh yeah, for some reason, like Curio Cards just started trending on Twitter. And yeah, all these like NFT hunters are like trying to find the first ones. And these are the first ones. And
that's awesome.
Hey,
yeah.
Can I share the screen? I have them up. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just a sec here. Okay, go ahead, Corey. Sorry.
Oh, that's it. I was just remarking that is super rad, because it is.
It's so weird.
It's really cool.
Yeah, they predate like CryptoKitties and CryptoPunks and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting because, like, I don't know, like as opposed to my English teacher who used to profess to know in high school what Shakespeare was thinking, and that I was obviously wrong, which annoyed the hell out of me. Like, I think like there is something to be said for artists when they have interviews and they tell their story about their inspiration and stuff like that. And I think that's, you know, something that maybe has been missing, like you said, with the whole experience of going to conferences and stuff like that, right? We still get together online, but I mean, you know, you meeting Corey in real life and you meeting him like across the screen, even though the screen is probably closer than you'll ever be in real life, is quite vastly different things, right? Like when you have that physical emotion, that physical, you know, ability to touch, it's quite different. And I always think it's the same thing with artists, right? And so it's something that I'm kind of, you know, personally curious about. So these ones, right? These were your creations.
27. Yeah, 27 isn't up there, but if you click on one of the pieces, it should take you. There might be an artist page or something.
Yeah. Just a second. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah. So I mean, if you said 29 was a good one, right?
Yeah.
So if you click on that, it'll take you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. like 0.0025 ETH a card, and that damn, that was cheap. That was a good return on investment.
So this is where it got weird for me. So I was talking to one of the other creators, this guy Travis, and I was just congratulating him, like, oh, this is so cool, like, congrats, you finally this project's like getting the attention it deserved, like, because it just kind of faded out. Like, I don't even think all the cards sold out of the vending machines. They literally were just sitting there. And so when it picked back up, people were like hitting those vending machines and just drained the rest of the tokens out of them. So so they literally were like there are people that are called NFT hunters that go out and try to find these like old school ones. And I met a lot of them recently, and I'm like, oh man, this is bizarre. Like, what a weird, strange world we're in. So I talked to Travis. I didn't even want to talk about the project. I'm just like, hey, check out Wax. Like, let's make a way to like bring these over to Wax. And like, so I'm just advocating for that. And then I'm like, oh shit. Like, I was going to talk to him, like they owed me some money. And then, because the vending machines, like eventually they had sold out. Like, so I'm like, oh, well, I know there's some money somewhere from them. And it was so little, but whatever. I didn't really care about it. It wasn't my main concern. And then I'm also like, oh man, maybe the team bought some of the cards out of it to give to the artist. I was going to ask him about that, but that wasn't the case. Like, so anyway, I was like, whatever, didn't think much about it. And then at the end of the conversation, he says, check out the community Discord. So someone made a Discord channel. It's not the one on the site. There was a different one. And so I popped into it, and there was like 400 people in there already. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, it just started like the day before. And I'm like, hey guys, like, I'm Marisol. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, Marisol's already here. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, we already hooked her up with some cards. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm Marisol. Like watch, like, here, check out the Facebook page. I'll update it because I have made Facebook pages for all the artists, and they're kind of like placeholders. Like, some of them might only have like 5 likes or something. So I'm like, I updated the Facebook page, like, oh man, I'm like, yeah, and talk to Travis, talk to Tom, like they both know me pretty well. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, we're so sorry. Like, we'll kick the other ones out. I'm like, there's only like 400 people in the group, and there's like already like fake personas. Oh man. And then, so I'm like catching up with everyone, and, started getting DMs right then. Like, hey, do you have any 29? Like, I want to buy 29. Like, I'm like, oh, by the end of the day, I have like serious FOMO. So I'm like, I go to sleep, and then I wake up the next morning, like 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh fuck, like, I don't have any of these cards. Like, these are going to be worth a ton of money. Like, I'm missing out. And so I woke up at 3, and I started minting the other ones from the same set. And there's probably around 500, I don't even know, 500 to 600 total from the set. So this is just a small glimpse of what you can see. So I minted the rest that I had images of, which ended up being like around 280 of them. And I minted all those on Atomic. So if you search Marisol Venga, you can find them on there. I think, yeah, Marisol Venga is 13 characters, so I had to go with Marisol Venga as the collection. And so what I did, I did a bunch of animal ones, a very limited set first. And I came back the next morning. I'm like, look, guys, I have a problem. Like, I have like serious FOMO, and I'm really upset at the situation. I'm not mad at anyone in particular. There was communication problems, and like, it wasn't a real structured project. And so I'm like, look, let's make this right. I want to get some cards. How about if I trade you for some of the new ones I made that are from the same artist? They're made from around the same time as well. But they've never been NFTs. And so I sent this kind of like longer format message. I'm like, check them out. If you want them, just PM me. And then all of a sudden it's like dozens of DMs, like, like, what's your Ethereum address? I'm just going to give you some. I'm going to hook you up. Like, I had a bunch of extras. Like, I worked on the project in some weird way. Like, just so much love from that. Yes, I ended up getting a bunch of my original cards, enough to feel confident that I have some skin in the game now. And just really, really awesome community. And I think we're doing a kind of like an AMA style hangout session on Sunday. So on Mother's Day at 7 p.m. Pacific, and I'll be posting it on my Twitter and throw it up on Telegram also. But
so again, you said the collection name is Marisol Vengas?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to me that like you're anonymous, right? Like an anonymous, shrouded in secrecy artist collective originating from Northern California. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, some cutting edge stuff from 2017, that's for sure.
But there's a lot of she's in here. I'm just kind of curious about that. I mean, you look like you got a pretty full beard to me.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, I mean, I guess I can talk a little bit about it. I don't want to get.
No, I just think it would be funny, like if the guy who like impersonated you as a her was actually a he,
it's like the reverse catfish.
Yeah,
I would assume that's what happened. But there was several fakes of myself. And yeah, as soon as I changed my name, I did Max Infeld, like Marisol Vengas. Then there was like 2 more fake ones that popped up. I'm like, man, this is insane. They must really want these NFTs. It's super wild.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't like. I'm not surprised. Like, I mean, like I and Corey as well. But we give Ethereum a hard time on this channel a lot, but we don't give it a hard time because we think it's worthless. It's not. We just think it's overvalued and overpriced. At least I personally do, right? Like, I'd much rather give you the majority of the money for this piece on Wax as opposed to giving the miners, their whatever you call it, like when a bank steals your money to send it from one country to another, because that's essentially what's happening, right?
But it's different too. Like if you like the secondary market stuff on Atomic, you can get into the range where you're it's costing you around the same amount, again on a percentage basis or whatever, but that's going to the artist, that's going to the collection.
Yeah, that's
right. Not some
really
random computer owner or whatever, right? I don't know.
Yeah, as our good friend Yoshi says, if this was on if this was on Wax and it wasn't on Ethereum, every time one of those pieces moved, then you would get the royalties for that, in a sense, right?
When we get it, we're getting it now. So they made a wrapper. So if you go to OpenSea, nice. If you can see check out what they're doing on OpenSea with Curio cards.
Okay.
It has the blue check mark and everything. Like they knew someone that knew someone. Let's just say that. Because it's really hard to get that blue check mark. So on there's a percent. It goes 1% to a 7 artist. And it's every like couple weeks. So it's there is that perpetual sales thing. But I'm pretty sure like most of the value is extracted through the gas fees. Like by far.
Right.
Like it's absurd. So anyway, yeah, I keep whispering in people's ears to make bridges. From Ethereum to Wax for these for NFTs, just so we can leverage them as game pieces or just have some more engagement where they're not just collectibles. But yeah, I think that's going to happen this year. I mean, I've seen even at the conference we're at, the hackathon theme was like NFT bridges, like the ones the Safe Moon guys hosted, and yeah, there's just so many incredible ideas came out of that hackathon. So
well, I mean, I think like art is going to be a big one for that as well, but I especially think like gaming as well, right? I mean, whether you talk about bridges or whether you talk about true IBC, I don't know, but you're going to have to figure out a way for like different people who have preferences, especially from different countries, to be able to get into this network system and make it easy and workable, right? Like, I mean, I like what Ultra's doing and I respect what Engines is doing, and like with the exception of the fact that like it's just not workable on a gaming level if you have to pay those Ethereum gas fees. That might be, when Ethereum 2.0 comes out. When I'm not sure. But like the fact is, a gamer's not going to want to play around with this. He's not going to be like, oh, I want to play this game, but this game's only on Ethereum, and now I've got to transfer my Ultra tokens to, through this network and pay Binance their fee in order to get my NFTs on there, and then have to go through this bridge, which I've got to set up 5 things on my internet. It's funny because I'm super frustrated right now, like with my real world jobs, because like the technology companies, like for some reason, like every time I've got like multiple things like loaded into my computer from different companies, it tends to like overwrite this stuff. And I'm severely frustrated at the real world because it's not as easy as blockchain. And I think the only reason I'm that frustrated is because I'm dealing with EOSIO, mostly Wax. And it's like, things should be simple. I shouldn't have to jump through 10 hoops just to like reset my password, right? Like, and it's funny because I think coming from the other side, most of the people who are looking at these major blockchains are probably having that problem. It's like, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this? And that's why we keep preaching on this channel. I mean, like Wax is a simple solution. And yes, you don't own your keys, but like Atomic, Wombat, you can own your keys. I mean, you can create a new account, you can pay for it. You can use like other places to own your keys, within Wax even, but like, it just doesn't make sense to me to go through this process of, I don't even know, like, if I was new to crypto and somebody told me if I bought a piece of art and then I was going to have to pay like $100 to make a transfer, I'd be like, screw this. I'm going to go to a museum and buy it and carry it home myself, man. Like, so I pay my butler for it, like I don't need to pay some other dude. Like, so I kind of get it. Right. Like,
yeah, I've been looking at I've started this process of donating one of my NFTs to a local museum called the Janet Turner Print Museum. They're the largest like printmaking museum in maybe in the US. I don't know. They have like tons and tons of like traditional art prints from like Warhol, like like all the famous Dali prints, that type of art print. So I'm like I know they have in their collection, they have digital prints, like physical digital prints. And so I reached out to the board and, I'm like, hey guys, like, do you want some NFTs? And they're like, yes, we want some. And then just going down that path of like even how to get them in the institution is a nightmare. It's like a lot of work. Like, it's not just like I can just give them, like, send it to their Ethereum address. Like, no, it has to go through there's just so many layers to them accepting it. And then like, how do you train them to like have a multi-custody account, and like it's just not going to happen, right? So there's anyway, yeah, it's really it's kind of, I think that's gonna be one of my summer projects, is just figure out how to get them to accept a donation as an NFT. And I don't even think it's gonna happen this year. I'm like talking to them about like how because I definitely want to do it as a write-off too. I want to get that sweet tax deduction from that. But it's more convoluted than it might be worth. And it's just showing how, like, if I wanted to donate to you guys, I'm just like, here's some tokens. Like,
yeah,
it's such a like oil and water situation. It doesn't even compare the ease of use, like interfacing with that system. Like, there's like a chain of like replies and like people like quoting the law. And I was like, oh man, this is a nightmare. So.
It's not good. Yeah, well, that's it sounds, when M Blue was telling me why he was initially trying to like sort of innovate in the charity space, and finally he was like, fuck the charity space, it's ridiculous, and then just create a for-profit business that's going to give 50% of its stuff away to actual stuff, right? So just like removes the whole thing. Like, do we get the tax breaks on it? No, but who cares? Like, at a certain point, trying to like save a couple cents or percentage points or whatever on one end while interfacing with the government and 501c3s, yada yada, you can be infinitely more efficient, which he's proven frankly over the last year, by just doing the thing yourself, right? Just by running a for-profit business very badly. Giving all the money away.
And we actually had an internal call like back in the day with someone who basically said this is the problem with charity in the real world. Because the problem with charity in the real world is the people who are really smart, the people who want to innovate, like the people who are making like, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million a year. These are the really smart people that you want running any business, any charity. Why the hell would they ever go and work for a nonprofit when they can make that much money and then like donate like 50% of it to charity and write it off in the tax and so this guy said it doesn't make any sense. And like that was like you said, one of the issues that we had as well with that organization is like,
right.
You know, I think if people donate to, even now, I think if people donate to like Uplift Donate, because we do give a portion of that to charity, that they should be able to use it as tax write-off. But the legislature that's set up in the majority of countries around the world isn't set up for that yet, right? So like and that's actual currency, right? Add NFTs to that. What do you do? What do you do when you're an artist, when you want to auction something off for charity, right? You want to auction it off and you want to give it, right? Like, yeah, you're totally right, Corey. It may never be. Sorry.
I would say it should be. Like, if they pulled their head out of their ass, it would be. But, you know, like waiting for that, we would all drown.
Oh man, there's just so many layers to making it possible. But yeah, that's gonna be fun because I feel like after I get the first one down, I'll know how to get the second and third ones. And but yeah, that would be huge. I mean, and getting an NFT in an actual museum would be like such a feat. Yeah, I mean, I don't even need the tax deduction. I was like, if it's easier, like I can just do it without it because just the publicity alone for curio cards would be worth it. So, man, the wild webs we weave, right? The crazy things we put ourselves into. But yeah, I think it's an important one. And just, you know, other major collectors, like I was thinking, like there's some incredible NFTs on wax that we could probably donate to other institutions that you know, aren't doing so well because of the, you know, COVID and people donating a lot less because of that. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge industry, donations of NFTs. So
yeah, that could be huge.
We had Darren on the channel last week, Darren from Graffiti Kings, and you know, he did something interesting. What he did was they painted street art, and then they took a photo, and then they made an NFT out of it, and then they destroyed the actual street art, right? So like the opposite side of that would be really cool, and I think that would, like, why not, right? Why not make an NFT? Like, why not have a real world art piece that makes an NFT and put it up, you know, in a real world gallery somewhere on a screen where you only have a one of one, and the only way you can see it is actually to go to that place and walk into that gallery, and then the admission fee, you know, part of the admission fee cost covers, you know, donations towards some charity or towards some aim or something. I think that's a really cool, you know, flip of what they're doing, and that covers all angles in a way, right?
I was offered to help set up a NFT gallery. I can't really describe, I can't get too much into it, but they basically were saying that they're going to have NFTs you can only get there. And it's totally for profit. It's not like a museum, or it's like a gallery where they would be they'd be supporting certain artists and encouraging them to make NFTs just for that location. Yeah, I mean, I was pushing more engagement, like more workshops, and you know more hands-on stuff where you're making NFTs with a group and things like that. Oh yeah, just really quickly, the curio cards. So I have those original pieces. I tracked them down and repurchased like a ton of the old ones that I made because they were sold at different coffee shops up here in Chico where I live, and also in the Bay Area, like San Francisco and Oakland, smaller coffee shops. I just take a bunch down, like, oh yeah, we'll show these. These are kind of cool. And so, yeah, I ended up getting a couple major supporters that buy a bunch at a time. And so I hunted them down and like, I need to get those back from you. But yeah, I found those 3 original NFT pieces, and I've had just insane offers for 29, like 30 ETH, like plus. And I'm like, wow. Like
at some point, like 30 ETH, you're like, well, that's $100,000. I mean, okay, I guess you could have this NFT.
I don't know though. Like, oh man, yeah, we're
that's
like,
the thing. Like, yeah, like I'm starting to experience for the first time in my life math that like I say things like just in conversations with my wife, I say stuff that is fucking stupid. Like that. None of the numbers coming out of my face hole make any sense. And this is all over the course of like, you know, the last 6 months or whatever, right? And really, you know, I think we're in this position where this still might be relatively close to the beginning, And that, like, I can't even process that. Like, we're at the uplift and you know, watching what our planet's doing and watching what Alien World is doing, like, we're just starting. And there's you're seeing 2% of what our plans are with the uplift right now, right? And we're stacked that deep. We're going to be, you know, releasing things we thought of last month in a year and a half, right? And they're going to be really fun. And of course, learning the entire time and ramping up what we're going to be doing, and right. So we really could be in this situation where this really is just the beginning of just a different way that economies work. I guess I don't know, but it seems like that's the case. So, like, you know, actually holding land or NFTs, you like would change your life. Like last year, like if somebody said, "Hey, you have an NFT, I want to give you $100,000 for it," that conversation would have lasted 10 seconds. Like, okay, right? But now it's like, yeah,
and I mean, like, I don't know what to do. I'm
it's
like,
crazy. No, it is. It's fun.
Yeah, this project hasn't even really hit the main crypto Twitter yet. Like, there's a little bit in there, but I'm like, maybe I'm gonna hold on to these original NFT artifacts.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years from now, add 1 0 or 2 is kind of the question, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's crazy. Like in the Uplift Art Telegram group today, a guy came in and he was trying to collect the legend. I think it was the legendary set, right? And he had almost all of them. He needed he went out and he like bought like a whole bunch of them, and like I think he was like 3 or 4 short, that like maybe 4 or 5 short. And these are the people we work with. Like, and Blue basically just said, check your account. Now you own one. And he's like, you know, and Blue's thing was like, pay it forward. Like, whatever you do, just pay it forward, right? Like he was this passionate about this early, and I think maybe there's only like maybe only one that's owned by like maybe us or maybe Blue. I'm not even sure. Like on the market, I don't even know, but like he was going through the process of actively collecting all of these NFTs, like to get in it. And it's funny to me because like his Telegram handle is awesome. His Telegram handle basically tells you how much of a whale he is, because it tells you how much in like our planet he makes like per hour. Like it tells you like how much like Bitcoin. I think he's a big Bitcoin Origins fan as well, and like he's just like this serious collector, right? And like Corey said, like it's super early days, and there are people that are going out of their way to like track down people like you. I think Max said as well. There's these people that are like NFT hunters, right? Like, I mean, to me, that should be like are you pumping your veins there?
No, it's just, I'm like, oh, so strong. Sorry, I know that probably looked really weird. It just was just like,
no, I mean,
this is a conversation is so amazing. I'm having a heart attack. Really, it's like grab the left arm, pass out, everything's sorry.
No, but like totally, right? Like we're just at the beginning of all of this, right? Imagine what some of these artists are going to do, like when they're discovered. You know, imagine what some of these people are going to do when like these things start flying off the shelves, right? So I think that's like a really good point. Like, you know, Corey said a year ago I would have done it, and maybe you too. But now it's kind of like, well, people are just starting to figure this out. Like, you know, what's it going to be worth in 6 months? What's it going to be worth in a year? I mean, I think you get really hard skinned after you've been in this space for a while, right? Like, it's funny because I'm introducing some of my non-crypto friends to this space because they're just like, you know, Jimmy, I'm really interested. Like, how did you get in here? And, you know, one of my non-crypto friends said to another one of my non-crypto friends, you know, I just bought wax for like 13 cents and now it's back up to 30. And my other crypto friend said, Dad, that was a good move. And I was just like, you guys are starting to get this shit. Like, once you see that, right? And I mean, I
want to ask you guys. So, you know, price isn't really like important to us. Like, I mean, it kind of is, but I know I could say that it's more about those like the engagement and the possibilities and like building on it. Like, there's a bunch of other things than price is down here somewhere, but what you see, you know, on Ethereum with the NFT sales, they're just like super insane, like wash tradey type of like, we all know what's going on there.
Yeah.
So if a lot of those artists end up coming to wax and they sell something for like $1 million in wax, then they try to cash out, they're not going to be able to, they're going to have a very difficult time doing that. And even getting $1 million back. Right.
Right.
So, yeah, what do you guys think about that? Like, what do you think? You know,
it's No, it's interesting. This is kind of like Legends coming in, and we're partnered with like a bunch of big time artists and like a record label and like a huge PR firm and like these are going to be like big brand name stuff, right? And it's fiat rails in, and I think eventually there's going to be fiat rails out, but I think primarily like you're going to have this NFT on Wax, and the secondary market on Wax is going to be full of a lot more stuff, right? I personally think that's going to have an effect on the price of Wax more than anything, because that's going to be where all the secondary market stuff is going on, right? So we're like in the process of doing this, I sort of see the market cap of Wax as being both Wax and all the Wax-based NFTs as like a weird conglomerate, right? And so we'll be increasing, the market cap on one side, and of course the other side is going to have to bounce. So that is interesting. But more to your point, for people that are sort of used to that wash trading thing and like they're using it as a hype machine, which let's face facts is working, right? Like that's something that the news doesn't understand or cover appropriately. And so they just see like a big number of people. Yay. Them coming to do this over here. Like we're already at the point where if we're not giving out NFTs that have utility, we've fucked up, right? It's already like just art NFTs period are amazing. But unless it can do something like, whatever. So like, I wonder if they won't even do as well here. And that's like, I'm not a collector in that vein. As just a registered Art Planet degenerate like that, I'm sort of looking at it from a different side of things. Right. So there might be a lot of cultural backlash on this side. But I don't know, like they could end up just being really, really excited, because then maybe they can do volume instead of large amounts. But if they try and do volume, and maybe this is, Max, why they're not coming over here. The reason why they're not coming over here to do volume is because they know they don't have the people. And that's just tragic and really, really good for the Wax ecosystem, because clearly we do. And that ultimately, I think, is what's going to scale.
Yeah, I've been just suggesting to artists, I'm like, most of the stuff on the higher ticket things are definitely looking like they're wash traded, only because the number of users is so low for how, like, it's people just sending money, around. It's no different than like what you'd see in like an artist like a gallery, like a higher end gallery. Well, they'll put like little red pins on the sold things just to make people think they've already sold for that crazy price. It's no different than that. It's been going around the art world, and there's no regulations there, and very few regulations with art too as NFTs. So
yeah, I'm not saying it's how to launder money.
on a slightly different variation, though.
I'm sure there's. It's not my space. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sure that's not how people are laundering money.
In that real world art gallery thing, yeah. But like on a slightly different note, like I wonder, like I don't know the answer to this question, but I don't think there's near the amount of gamification in the Ethereum system as there is in Wax. And I think that actually makes it a little bit more interesting. So I think speculators, Max, you might be right. Maybe in this sense, when there's higher trading volumes because of the wash trading, then that's a good incentive to be over there. But I think like from a collector point of view, which probably hasn't really caught on yet, like it has in the real art industry, it's not going to make any difference. They're not going to care where it is. They're going to want the piece because it's Ty Carter. They're going to want the piece because it's, some original, artist or musician or something like that. Right. I mean, it's just my take, but I think what Corey said is really good in a way, because we don't know. Right. And we're a little bit biased over here in Wax because we want people to use it, from a trading perspective and from a gamification perspective. But I mean, like if you're going to buy $1 million or a $2 million piece of artwork as an NFT because you want it to be an NFT, you're probably not going to be the one researching how to do it and press the button. You're probably going to be the one that says to somebody else, I want this, go figure out how to get it fucking in my wallet. I didn't even know what a wallet is, but I need it in there. That's just my take on it right now.
Well, and so part of my duties as a consultant is to educate and onboard like a lot of people, right? So I've been onboarding artists into crypto, 10 years now or something, like so long. And I've never been able to get as many artists involved until Wax came along.
Yeah, I can see that.
So what I suggest to them is like, don't think you're going to sell anything. Like, just don't assume that, but just use this as an opportunity to share your art with your network. And then I go into telling about the network effect of crypto and how it's like you just give out like one token to everyone. So I get into that. And then I'm like, after you see if your community can even accept this. They may not give a fuck. They might just be like, oh, this is so over my head, or like make up some other excuse or whatever. They might have some reason why they are unable to accept that NFT. And I'm like, that's fine. That's all right. There's other networks. There's other communities that you can engage with. So if there's like a festival, you could get your NFTs on the ticket stubs, or you can drop them on like in bracelets or whatever. There's other ways to. So I just use it as like more of like a vector to engage other communities. And at the conference in Miami last 2 weeks ago, giving out these NFT scratcher tickets is by far the highest rate of engagement I've ever had on any project ever. 95, right there. 95% or like 99% of the people successfully engaged with it, set up a wallet, scan the NFT. There was some weird duplicate action. I'm not sure what happened at the copiers, but anyone who got a duplicate NFT, I gave them another one. They're eager to scratch it off and scan it also.
My wife, again, who's like, she's coming around now because she has a little Our Planet mind. It's just like, you can't ignore that, right? She's like taking her parents on vacation for this little thing. It's just like, this is real now, Babs. She calls me Babs too, by the way. So anyway, like I brought a bunch of these home from my dear friend Max. And she's like, what are these things? I'm like, well, that Wax account that you have, you can like, and we actually figured out, like, because if you scratch it too hard, you just peel it off really careful. Peel that sucker off. and then you point your phone at it. So she does that. She's like, ooh, I got this NFT. It's like some fucking silly. Oh, is the guy who running for office or whatever? It's like, is this guy seriously just sending out NFTs because he's running for office? Yes. And also like, well played. It's pretty good, right? And so she's like, do you have any more? Like, yeah. Yeah. So I became the NFT scratch off bank of Corey for about a day, and it worked out really well for me. So thank you for that.
I've never experienced that personally, but I just love the fact that you actually have to take out a coin to scratch a thing to get an NFT in your non-coin wallet.
It's so meta. All right, hey, I gotta run into the tunnel hall. You guys feel free to keep chatting. Max, we just need to have you on way more because like now that I've actually hung out with you IRL, it's just not enough. Seeing you once a couple weeks is fucking bullshit.
I got you guys for sure.
Cool meets. All right,
I'll see you tomorrow, Corey.
Yeah,
you guys have fun.
I should get going too. I got a busy day ahead of me.
Yeah, no worries. Just before you go, just let me say, and I'm going to throw this out to the community as well. But like, off air, I can fill you in. But you're just going to love Yoshi drops. You're going to love what's coming from Uplift Art, and I hope that you and your artist friends become a big part of it because it's going to be awesome. So everyone out there in the community. This is going to be happening in the next couple months. Pay attention. Keep your eyes on Uplift Art, what's coming, out of the Telegram channel, what's coming out of the news posts, as well as the Uplift world, but like in particular to this conversation.
Yeah, and I was just going to add too, anyone who's watching, if you find Marisol Vengus page on Facebook and comment on the page, I will DM you with a claim link to one of the new NFTs that I made from Marisol. And there's some really cool stuff in there. So yeah, just find the page, and then I'll see that you commented. I'll DM you with a claim link and hook you up.
And the easiest way to find it is just search. I can show you the page again. Sorry, what did I search? I searched Curio Cards number 29. And that'll take you to the link, and you'll be able to find the Facebook page. It's right on that.
Yes.
It's right on that
website.
I
think it's facebook.com/fb.com/Marisol Vengus.
Okay.
And yeah, you should. Anyway, just a little. It's a little bit of legwork, but it'll be worth it. You'll get something cool out of it.
Fair enough. I really don't like Facebook either, but sometimes you just got to play the game. That's all I'll say.
Look, I'm not a fan. I kept. I don't really use it that much. I mostly use it for Messenger from one of my businesses. I get hit up on there all the time, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I wish I could just route it to something else and never touch it again. But They got me. They tricked me into thinking that it was a business tool. So.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Max. And please come back again sometime soon, because that was super exciting to hear that history. And we'll check all of you guys tomorrow. Actually, Corey and I will be on the Crypto Writer channel, but we'll be back in here on Friday. So thanks very much. And